And focus your mind to this bell sound and follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, dear Dhamma friends, before we start our practice, so I'm going to give you some information that will help for you to practice yourself. So in the beginning, we're going to develop tranquility meditation. So we're going to develop some calmness inside in our mind. So the very nature of our mind always it's go here and there. So you no need to worry about it. When you start, once you start to close your eyes, sometimes you feel like your mind go roller coaster. It's always here and there. It always need kind of like information or the kind of mental object. So sometimes in the beginning when you close your eyes, so you don't see what to do. Just being silent or just closing your eyes, not enough. So that's why we give a mental object. Why? Because the mind mostly listen to mental object and go with mental object. It used to be with mental object. So then rather than just become silence, start to get into a mental object. So here we get as our primary mental object, our inhalation, exhalation. So it is not something you visualize. It is not something you maintain. It is not something you think, or it is not something you interfere with it. So you focus your mind in front of your nose and your upper lip area and this area, and then allow inhalation, exhalation to happen. So when the inhalation, exhalation happens, sometimes there is a sensation arise. So that is the important part you have to recognize. Otherwise, not just thinking about yourself or dreaming or trying to make inhalation, exhalation happens, or try to maintain your inhalation or try to count. Don't do that things. So there are some teachers, they does it, but just try to go deeply direct to the sensation of it and stay little by, even though it is little bit difficult sometimes. In long term, you get good benefit out of it. So when you focus to inhalation, exhalation, the main difficult part is getting to the sensation. So the one reason is the posture. Because even though you feel like you sit straight, your back straight, and sometimes according to the structure of your own body, your own muscles, sometimes you have to adjust little bit your posture, upper body. So then what you have to do, your main purpose, get into the sensation and you focus your mind to inhalation, exhalation. So then slowly try to move little bit upper body back and forth and find the right place for you. And also the head. This is important. And some people, when they start to focus to this, when they close their eyes and focus here, what is happening? Slowly their head come forward, because the brain cells follow the eyes. So then slowly they come forward like this, and then you lose the sensation. So that's why, so remember yourself to keep the chin in the right place. So for that, little by little, sometimes it take time. Try to observe and get the the right place, and moving your upper body and the head little bit back and up and down like this. So find the right place, and then this place moving back and forth, and the head up and down. There is a place that you naturally going to feel the sensation very clearly. Once you get into that place, the the most difficult part you done. Because if you don't get the right sensation, you always keep pushing your mind, and you keep looking, and you wasting so much energy on it. But once you get the sensation naturally, it is very easy for you to follow that sensation. So that's why try little bit yourself, even while you're practicing, and when you have free time, just try little bit and see where you can exactly find the natural sensation. Not you doing and make it happen, just natural sensation. Once you get that, and start to observe it and allow everything to happen as it is, and allow that recognize when the inhalation happen as inhalation, when the exhalation happen as exhalation. So that is the first step. That is the foundation you build up to develop the tranquility meditation. And from there, when you come to that tranquility meditation, that when you keep following the inhalation, exhalation separately and moment by moment, so what is happening? Your mind become more sharp and clear. That clarity will help you to recognize the entire continuation of the inhalation and exhalation. So follow that entire continuation knowingly. This is the beginning, this is the middle, and this is the end. So when you follow that entire continuation, your mind become more sharp and clear, and stay with the present moment. And as a result of that, the mind again and again going to settle down with the breathing, and you're going to see more clearly the very nature of the inhalation, exhalation. So then some inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold, so like that. Each and every inhalation, exhalation, you recognize separately. So accept it. Don't try to adjust it. Accept it. Don't try to make any comments on it. Don't try to kind of like have a conversation yourself. So allow it to happen, accept it. So these 3 steps will allow you to settle down, and your body, your mind, your breathing in the surface level start to settle down. So as a result of that, what is happening? You feel more comfortable with the posture and with the meditation. And so now your mind doesn't go here and there. You don't think about yesterday, you don't think about tomorrow, or you don't think about whatever happened, or happy moment, or the sad moment. So you just stay with the sensation now. So mind become more familiar to follow the sensation. So then slowly in the surface level, it's still you are in this tranquility state. In that tranquility state, what is happening? In the surface level, the mind start to react. Why? Because now you developing kind of like a resistance against its own nature. What is the nature? It always go here and there. Now you slowly, little by little, giving more attention, more focus to the sensation of the inhalation, exhalation. So then sometimes now you feel inhalation, exhalation clearly, you stay with it. Suddenly, what is happening? Whatever very recent memory, something can pop up. It completely overtake the sensation. Like now you feel very clearly inhalation, exhalation, you feel calm, relaxed, but suddenly thoughts can pop up. And then whatever happened yesterday, maybe arguments, maybe whatever the movie or the whatever you movie you watch, or the food you eat, or maybe wherever you went, suddenly it can pop up and overtake the consciousness. Even you don't notice. Now the mind start to stay with it. And maybe whatever the plan you're going to do tomorrow, day after tomorrow, so suddenly it can overtake the moment. If it is happen, then you recognize it, and then again bring your mind to the sensation and follow the sensation. And maybe now you are more settled down with the sensation, you feel inhalation, exhalation, and then suddenly very older thoughts, kind of like a 10 years, 20 years back. And it was not in your mind on the surface level, but suddenly that things can pop up. Whatever the happy moment happen in your life, and whatever the unhappy moment happened to you. So these things, and maybe after 10 years, 20 years, whatever the plan you having, so these things can pop up. What the mistake mostly some students does, and they sometimes think it is a result of the meditation. It is not the result of the meditation. You have to be in the present moment observing the sensation, but our mind has a very nature to remind and go with the mental formations, already whatever the roots that we carry within us related with the memory. So the memory, when it comes to that, there are three kinds of: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. So only thing you have to have, just see if anything is not related with the present moment with your sensation, forget about it. Don't go with it. It like that's why it called the nimitta. Nimitta means the harbor. So anchoring your mind, anchoring to the sensation of the inhalation. So then when the mind try to go here and there, the mind stay with the sensation. So it doesn't matter whatever the pleasant or unpleasant thoughts, if it is related with the past or the future, don't go with it. And still in this tranquility state. And another thing can happen without any reason. Sometimes thought can pop up, weird thoughts, and it's a kind of like maybe you had a dream in the long time ago. That dream that maybe you so attached to that dream as a child during that time. Maybe you saw something as a child, you went for a picnic and you had the experience. In that deep experience, you attached to so much in that very moment, that experience. And you cannot express by words to anybody. And maybe the fear you had somewhere. And it can happen in this very lifetime or even in the sansaric journey, wherever. So what is happening now? Now your mind settle down with the moment, and you are not reacting to your bodily, verbally action in the moment, in the surface level. So if your mind busy with in the surface level, these things not going to happen. It is inside you, but you don't see. Now what the different is now you see. That is the only thing. Now you see your own mind, how this vomit, how this bring back that all the things. It always happening, but now you can notice. So it exactly like a volcano. So the volcanoes, it's wherever the very weak place of the ground, and then it pop up, it bring up. So when the mind now settle down and the mind not busy with doing anything, and mind trying to settle down, that the strong memory can pop up. Only thing is, don't try to go with it. And sometimes in the beginning, you may go with that thoughts, knowing unknowingly. It is okay. That's very nice. You no need to worry about it, because this is our very nature. But once you recognize it, without thinking or without becoming worry, without having any doubt, right away bring it back. Right away bring it back to the sensation. So that is practice. This is the exercise you do. And this is what called kamatahana. Kamatahana means workplace. So your harbor is your place is that sensation, and bringing back and stay with it is your practice. What happens when you keep doing this again and again, again and again? So the mind going to listen to that. Then now itself, your consciousness has no choice. Why? Because your awareness become more strong, sharp and clear. So then little by little, mind will settle down with the inhalation, exhalation. And when you settle down with that, your body, your mind, your breathing, your thoughts calm down and become more relaxed and comfortable. And then the joy arises, the pleasure arises inside you, but you don't go with it. It is surface level of joy. So your main purpose is observing the sensation. And it's like some people you may experience, people go to watch movies and their main purpose is watching the movie. But when they become too comfortable with the seat, you know what is happening to them? They fall into sleep. Why? Because more than the attention to the movie, they get stuck with the comfort of the seat. The same thing happening in the deeper level when we observe the sensation of the inhalation, exhalation, the feelings arise with the sensation and we more comfort and relax. And if you go with it, you start to create something in your mind, not real. So that's why you don't go with it. You stay with the inhalation, exhalation. When you stay with it, little by little, what will happen? Your mind, your breathing, your body, your thoughts completely settle down as one. It's become very sharp and clear, and no more, it doesn't go anywhere. It become completely settled down. You know that. When you keep practice little by little, you know that. So once you get into that level, what you have to do, and slowly start to get into only the sensation. Forget about all other details. It doesn't matter inhalation, exhalation, long or short, heavy or soft, like that. Don't go to any details. So far we came and we developed a tranquility state in our mind. It calls samatha bhavana, tranquility meditation, serenity meditation. So chitta bhavana, this all, and the main purpose is bringing our mind to one point. So now you are there. So from there, we go to vipassana level of meditation. So in the vipassana level, what is the difference with the samatha and vipassana? In the samatha meditation, we try to tranquilize our mind. So that was the main purpose. But when it comes to vipassana, deeply, thoroughly observe. Observe what? Observe our own sensation. So now we keep anchoring our thoughts to the sensation of the inhalation, exhalation. We get the same mental object to go to vipassana level. So when the inhalation exhalation happens, you just focus only to the sensation. Don't go with any other details. And when the sensation happens, stay with it. Go to the bottom of the sensation and stay with it. And see what you experience as sensation, what you feel with this inhalation exhalation. And then you see deeply when the inhalation and exhalation happen, each and every moment, the feelings become different. Follow that. So now you get into the change of the feelings. So in the beginning, in the samatha level, we just go with the outside surface level of the details. Now you become more aware and your attention to recognize what? Recognize the very nature of the inhalation exhalation. So then you see that moment by moment sensation change, the breathing change itself, inhalation, exhalation. That is the form, that is the body. So according to the inhalation, exhalation, feelings change. So whatever feel as inhalation, exhalation change. And according to that feeling, sensation change. So the sense, according to the sensation, formations change. So you recognizing as this is inhalation, as exhalation. So how you get it something as inhalation or exhalation? Because it mentally format. There is a format it going to recognize. So as example, when I say this is a pen. So how you going to recognize this as a pen? Because this pen exactly doesn't come to your eye. It's come as pictures. It's come as a light. So you inside your mind, there is a formation already. You know something about the pen. So that is where you recognize, when you see this, you recognize, oh, it is a pen. So otherwise, as example, without telling anything regarding giving any information by words. So this is what mental formations. Okay, I want to just give idea. So what mental formations mean? So what now you see this, and then what you see in your mind with the pictures, there is a word came to you as a name. So it tells you what is this. So see, in between us, I just show you the picture. But now in your mind, you had a word regarding this. So mental formation is this. So then somebody in the next room, he's not practicing meditation. He's doing something else. And then that person asks you in this very moment, hey, what is that monk showing to you? And he didn't see what is this. Even I didn't tell it to you. So another room, another person asking you now, hey, what is that monk showing to you? Then you say, a water bottle. So then that person in his mind going to recognize what is this? How he recognized that? So you saw the picture and you convert it to words. And you have that name and form both in your mind, and you recognize it's a water bottle. And then you tell to other person it's a water bottle, and in his mind also now this picture. That is what called mental formations. So when I say inhalation and exhalation, through the mental formation, you recognize it. So like that in this regarding this entire universe, in this world, everything, we have all the mental formations. So our deep experience, sensation has a link with the mental formations. And when with the mental formation, the complete process finish, this everything bound as one. It's like a hold like this, and that is called consciousness. So there is something. So this is in my hand, this pen is here, and when I hold this, it's going to be in my hand. So this is what called consciousness. So like that, this entire process from when that something come from outside to our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and it start to get into the sense feelings. So to arise the feelings, we have to have the senses and the organs and the consciousness, that the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, consciousness, that all. And once it come to that, the sensation, feelings arise. And the feelings develop to sensation. And the sensation develop to formations. And formations develop to consciousness. These all 5 things work as one. This is the life. You can mention as life as this all other outside events, but this is what happening inside you. It is happening so fast, and it moment by moment process. It even in the deeply consciousness always fresh. It's not going to be solid, and it not going to be repeat the same thing. It go always happening, but sometimes it continue as a event. That continuation of as an event is we call as a body or the kaya. So as example, this pen is a continue as an event, that when I hold this for maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, like that. So this is that during that process, that what you see as something, we take it as a kind of like a solid experience. That is what happening in every day. But as example, according to the history of the universe timeline, the 1 day is, even you cannot find it, it's like nothing. But how about for us, experiencing 1 day is a certain time, kind of time limit. But when this is happening so fast inside us, and again and again, when it happens so fast, and sometimes we see it as something, but it is not a kind of like a something going to be solid. It always happening moment by moment, moment by moment. So when the mind in the surface level busy, you cannot see it. But in the vipassana level, you go deeper and observe and recognize very clearly how this is happening. And you cannot get into this all the things in the beginning. Only thing is just, it take time. Even for us also, it took so much time. And now 20, 30 years we practice. And it take time to understand and recognize and get into self-experience ourselves. Even though we knew intellectually, to get into experience, it takes time. So only thing yourself, just keep practice, and just be very clear. Whatever the baby steps that you take, do take it very correctly, knowingly, develop the conscious, give the first priority to the awareness, and stay with that. So get into the sensation and follow the sensation. That other everything little by little will happen. Okay, so with that, we're going to practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck it straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. Now scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Swapatveva. Oh, may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment with this sitting. May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also, think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of the inhalation, exhalation. So remember to adjust your posture and bring your attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And deeply and gently breathe out 3 times and find the sensation. And now slowly bring your attention and allow your inhalation to exhalation to work itself. So don't interfere with the sensation. Just observe and recognize. If your mind go here and there, bring it back again and again. Bring your attention only to the sensation. Stay with the sensation. Drop all other details. Bring attention to your body. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire this compound, this village, this city, this state, this country, this world, and this universe. And as far as we can, through galaxies, other planets, stars, reminding ourselves like this. Mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light to your backside, to your left side, and to your right side, downward and upward, to all 6 directions at once, like the moon, the sun. Spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart too shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, when it comes to our everyday life, one of the major thing is the restlessness that we dealing every day. So when it comes to restlessness, there are two kind of restlessness: physical restlessness and the psychological restlessness, physical and mental. So for the physical restlessness, we are addicted to being busy, and it is your responsibility somehow find little time and find a gap in between the in day-to-day activities. Because when you have this physical rest, and it deeply help for you to settle down with the mental rest. And just having physical rest doesn't mean you're going to get the mental rest, but it is necessary that you have to have this physical rest, because mostly we addicted to do things. So especially when you practice meditation, then remember, somehow try to find a gap in between your actions, and don't try to keep a continuation of your action. Even that you have every day certain things, try to moderate your physical actions. So that will help for you to develop some kind of awareness even within that actions. Otherwise, when you become busy and when you just become kind of machines with the physical actions, the one of the things happening is you lose the awareness with the actions, and the mind start to becomes something else separate from you. When the body itself become settle down with the physical actions again and again and again, when it become addicted to that physical actions, when the mind come out of the moment, the mind start to go its own way, because the mind doesn't care about the body anymore. The mind knows that you are comfortable with the action and then you go with it. So then you have to be very careful when you settle down with the physical actions. Always it should be mindful. So there cannot be any physical action you develop without becoming mindful. So to get into that level, important thing is slow down and finding certain gap in between actions. Don't keep a continuation. Don't keep a continuation. So, and develop certain moderation. So that way, little by little, and you can come out of this physical, that the restlessness. And also mental restlessness. We always have thoughts in our mind. We always have chattering, comments, conversations, interfering mentally with everything around us. So that develops the restlessness inside us. So mainly in the tranquility state of meditation, what it does, it helps to slowly bring down that restlessness, and it to develop that little by little yourself. You have to develop the Shrutame Jnana. Shrutame Jnana is one of the main practice when you go towards the wisdom. Shrutame Jnana, Chintame Jnana, Bhavaname Jnana. So the Shrutame Jnana means it's kind of like ability to listen or art of listening. The major part in this art of listening, it helped you to develop the mind, and it helped you to find the gap and rescue your mind from this restlessness. So how it happened? So because normally when we hear things, we see kind of continuation. We don't see in the middle, there is a break, there is a gap. So when you have a conversation, when you don't develop the art of listening, and when you hear the right away, you have answers inside you. So that is the arguments come. And when the both start to talk and regarding something and no one listening, and but everybody think, the both people think they are listening, but no one listening. So the listening part come when you create the gap in between the conversation. If you very clearly hear what other person tells, and there is no way you develop arguments. But mostly when we in day-to-day life, in ordinary life, mostly when we have a conversation, we mostly think, oh, I hear what other person tell, I understand. And sometimes even before that other person talk, and we come to a idea and tell that regarding other person, and then this restlessness become more higher. So to bring it down, calm down, very important thing is start to find the gap. So if you develop this continuation inside, this inner chattering inside you, and you maybe even you're not going to listen to your own mind. So then how you can do this? So as example, when you observe inhalation, exhalation, in between inhalation, exhalation, there is a gap. If you're able to do it, just try to observe it a little bit and recognize and try to focus your mind to that gap and see. Then you see it. And that will help to slow down your mind a little bit. And when somebody talk and start to without interfering to that, start to accept it and let it receive. And so shut down your inner chattering. So little by little you have to practice it, otherwise it's not going to happen. And even for your children, for your young children, because they mostly go with the machines and technology, and sometimes they texting so fast, and it's kind of like that inner chattering becomes so faster than this outer chat that you have with the person. So that's why sometimes you reply before even the other person reply to you, or even other person read your message, you send the next message to that person. Why? Because inner chattering so fast. But try, if you bring it down little by little, slow down, what is happening in the deeper, in the middle, the awareness, and not only the awareness, the recognition arise, understanding arise. You need the gap to arise the understand. It's same like a tree. When you plant a tree, to grow that tree, it needs space. Without space, that tree cannot grow. So same thing, when you don't have the gap in between the words that you listening, if you don't create the gap, understanding never going to happen. Remember that very carefully. And so Shrutame Jnana is, that's why it is the foundation for the wisdom, path of the wisdom. So in the Shrutame Jnana, what it does, it creates a gap in between the words. It creates the gap in between the listening and reacting. So it is the kind of well-disciplined practice. So that discipline, if you develop little by little, and naturally you come out of the restlessness. So this mental inner chattering, or the inner conversation, this inner restlessness, and that itself bring the comfort to yourself to be who you are and settle down with your mind. And it itself, that comfort will show you even your own mind. So when it comes to meditation and the wisdom path, one of the best ability is the miracle or the result that you can gain seeing your own thoughts yourself. So getting to that level, moment by moment, how you have to develop, start to shut down this inner chattering every day with little listening. And don't spend so much time on the outside things. And look ourselves in day-to-day life, how much times we spend for this unnecessary thing sometimes. For games, watching games, and if you spend so much time, and sometimes that all the inner chattering that you had with that all the games, where today? It's all gone. It's all unnecessary that you spend. And how about you just that settle down yourself and slowly break it down, and if you take out your mind from that all this unnecessary that involvement, that involving with this the outside worlds, and see that when how many movies you watch in your life, there's nothing wrong with it, but finally you have to see the what is the outcome came to you. Are you develop the listening? Are you develop inner chattering with it? Or how much music you listen? It is the energy that you spend. So what is the benefit that you get out of it? So because this is very life, are you develop kind of like a wisdom out of it? Are you develop your inner chattering? Because the listening music is art. Well, I see this every key, so whatever the sound that, there is a gap. So if you cannot recognize that gap, you cannot enjoy, you cannot recognize the music. But if you have that inner chattering with it, you just surface level, you just go with the sound, you never understand what is the music. So to get into the music, you have to, so if you study the music, you know, the mainly when you go with the key, with any tools, the important thing is the gap, the silence part, not the sound part. Then according to the silence part that you create, the whatever the outcome going to become different. So the same thing with ourselves. Rather than developing this, the sound inside us, according to the gap we create, the silence is going to change our outcome. So then, and the how much food that we ate and put it to ourselves, and so what is the outcome? And now you have knowledge and wisdom to understand not what you ate going to build our life, and it going to sometimes decide what we don't eat and change our life. So same like the gap is finding the gap in between our actions is very important. And when it come to people also the same. And sometimes now you recognizing the people who we associate, and at the same way, the people we don't associate also create our life. So like that. And the thought also, not the thoughts that we thinking, and what kind of thoughts you don't think also create your life. So if you recognize that, and whatever the gap that you create can change your life, that your this inner restlessness going to go away. Why? Because knowingly or unknowingly sometimes we get into situations and we get into life and we creating things and believing it is necessary for us, but it is unnecessary. We condition to go with this all the situations in this life, and we think it is necessary for us, but if you look very carefully, it is unnecessary. So then remember to find the gap, and then always, especially with the physical and the mental. So if you keep that gap, and it will help to find this kind of like a rest in between that gap. That rest, if you able to increase little by little, that restlessness going to disappear and you gain the rest. That rest is the beginning of the wisdom. So remember that, not the busyness, not the being multitasking, and not doing many things and or that going with everything. No, just settle down yourself and find the calmness and finding the gap in between this each and every action, and finding the gap even in between the words by words will lead you to deeper recognition. Because in the vipassana level, the finding the gap in between this is something that maybe you cannot understand maybe today. In the vipassana level, the very key point is finding the gap in between the sensations and feelings and awareness is the key to attain to enlightenment. So then yourself, how you can start this path? Little by little, start to find the gap in between your words, and when you go to people, and mind your gap. And when you have a conversation, keep your gap. And wherever you go, whatever you do, and remember to, and even especially when the conversations happens, in between the words, keep the gap. When you listening to music, keep the gap. And when you watch the movie, keep the gap. And when you eat, keep the gap. And when you with the people, and keep the gap. And when you think, keep the gap. And stay in that gap and see how far you can maintain that gap. And that way you will see. In that gap, you allow your wisdom to arise, your awareness to arise. There you will see something better than that, the conversation, or better than that music, or better than the movie that trying to tell you, or better than the people you associate, or better than the thoughts it come. There's something you can see. So with that, there were two monks in temple, and every day they go to end of the day, in the evening, they go to close by, there is a river, they go to that river and wash this all the dishes. So then one day these two monks went to river and start washing their dishes. And then there was one monk saw there was a Scorpio caught in the current and keep going. And the Scorpio struggling to come out of the water. So the monk put his hand and took the Scorpio. And right away, the Scorpio bite the monk's hand. And then other monk was watching, and what you doing? What you doing? Don't touch. So the monk that put the Scorpio on the ground and start to wash the dishes. And then he saw again. Then again this Scorpio fell down to water and then came with the current. And the monk again took the Scorpio and put out of the water. So this happened 3 times. And the monks keep doing, and at the same, every time this Scorpio bite the monk. So other monk was watching and asked, why you do this? This animal very dangerous. Don't touch it. And it is harmful. So this monk told, that is the nature of that animal, and biting or not. But this is my nature to rescue. But then this monk asked, this other monk told, but 3 times that Scorpio bite you. Then this monk told, I don't know how many times, but I know only what I did. See, that is what, when you find that when you see the gap. So other monk saw 3 times, but this monk didn't count to his what he did. And he focused to the intention of his action. So like that in our life, mostly when we do good things, sometimes look how many things we count in life. But if you look for the gap and if you stay with the awareness, and it doesn't matter, you can go for 100 times, even each and every time going to become a new, fresh moment. That is the Vipassana level of awareness. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patient courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata ca ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Itam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.